first things first. I'm Jenna Wolf. That's the Hall of Famer Chris Carter.
What's up, Jenna Wolf?
Get my dang on glasses.
Oh, my bad, man.
Like
Sorry about
bad
that.
kids. Jeez, get my glasses.
I'm Nick Rush.
I need them.
That really threw you off,
That
Jenna?
threw me so far off that I had no words.
You didn't know who she was sitting next to.
I had no idea what was happening. He did seem a little smarter for the brief moment when I looked
IQ
over.
went up.
Which,
Also,
yeah.
you look taller with the glasses on, too. You might want to try to get a pair.
You can have mine if he wants
No,
it.
I don't need
he
bifocals,
doesn't.
thank you.
Okay, right off the bat. We have two conference championships games to look into. We are going to look way deep into those two, so we will start with yet another Super Bowl run from Tom Brady.
Look at him.
Brady and the Pats.
Both of us, 4 eyes.
Brady and the Pats advancing to their 8th straight AFC conference game. That after beating the Chargers this past weekend. As a reward, they get the toughest offense in football, the Kansas City Chiefs. So they did beat the Chiefs 43-40 earlier this season, but that was at Gillette, where the Pats went undefeated this season. Now they're at Arrowhead, where the Chiefs went 7-1. Brady says it'll take a great effort to beat this team a second time.
Kansas City is a great football team. They really are. We played them at home. You know, they've been having an incredible season. You know, even the games they've lost, they've been right at them till the end. So anything less than our best, you know, won't make it this week. And you know, it's a tough place to play. You know, we just got to be as mentally and physically prepared, be as mentally and physically tough, and go in there and try to beat a great football team.
All right, CC, this Chiefs offense has been great the entire season, and yet back in Week 6, this was a close game between the Patriots and the Chiefs, and the Patriots won. How were they able to do it back in Week 6? How did they keep pace with the Chiefs back then?
That is a legitimate question when you have historically one of the best teams we've seen scoring the football. And it's not only just their passing game. Patty Mahomes, yes, he's going to get a lot of that attention because of 50 touchdowns, but their ability to balance it, who they're going to throw to, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, the others that they have. And I got to admit, since Kareem Hunt's been out, they've been able to have the balance of running the football. And that I was concerned about because that running component with Kareem, that made that offense even. I mean, it's a special offense, but when you get in the red zone, when you have that threat that you can run it, it makes it a lot easier to score. But the only way, and this is any offense, this is the Saints, this is the Rams, and even the Pats. And I think it's the first time in NFL history we've had the first 4 the highest scoring teams. So it's
the final 4.
So how do they do it? When you try to pick apart these offenses, who's best and everything, the team that gets the help from the defense. So how does New England do it? The only way you can keep pace with Kansas City is if your defense, especially in the red zone, if it tightens up. And that's what New England has done for years. Week number 6, what was the difference in this meeting besides a couple calls there at the end? It happened to be New England's red zone defense, especially early in the game, making Kansas City settle for field goals. And that's the way you're able to keep pace with them. If you can get, we talked about last week with the Colts, if they were able to get 6 to 7 trips inside that red zone, if you can make a few of those trips, 3 of those trips into field goals, I mean, you are really going to be able to help yourself out when it gets to the end of the game. So I don't believe play for play, talent for talent, that there's someone that can match up with Kansas City. And if the Pats are going to be able to do it, they need some help from their defense, especially in that red zone, which they've been great at for a long time with Bill Belichick.
So you mentioned the Chiefs running game post Kareem Hunt. Damian Williams has done a really close facsimile of Kareem Hunt.
Not easy to do.
Not easy to do. He was the rushing champ last year. In the running game, one spot in Week 6 where Kareem Hunt was special was receiving the football. And that's one spot Damian Williams is not as good. Just flatly, Kareem Hunt was underrated as far as his ability and what Kansas City likes to do in the screen game to using their running back. And he caught a touchdown on a wheel route up the field that I haven't seen Damian Williams do that. So that part of the Chiefs offense will be different. But I think this part of the Pats offense will be different. One of the reasons they were able to hang 43 on Kansas City, Rob Gronkowski, 97 yards receiving. We haven't seen that. We've seen that from Gronk once in the last 10 weeks of the season. Josh Gordon, 5 for 42, including the first pass of the game.
And targeted a bunch of other times.
Right. He's not on the team anymore. So the Pats got 139 yards from those two guys. And in vintage Patriot fashion, They didn't have an accepted penalty the entire game, so they were never hurting themselves, and they never punted. They went for it on a 4th down and didn't get it. No punts. No penalties, no punts.
And the last two you can count on again, probably. You can obviously, we don't know if what Gronk is going to do. We haven't seen it, and there's no Josh Gordon. But you can rest assured this team's going to be buttoned up penalty-wise.
Right. They're not going to be highly penalized. I don't think it'll be 0-0 again.
Of course.
But you can rely. They will have elongated drives. They will be able to convert on 3rd down, and that they're not going to be highly penalized. The other thing to C's point, which is in the first, this game was 24-9. Pats at halftime. It was kind of remarkable the Chiefs were able to take a second-half lead when you're down 15 points at halftime in that building. And why was it 24-9? On the first drive, Patrick Mahomes misses an open receiver for a touchdown. That's the nerves I was talking about. Yep. They settle for a field goal. On the second drive, he gets picked. On the 4th drive, they have 1st and goal from the 7. They settle for a field goal. On the 5th drive of the half, he's picked in the red zone again. This is right before halftime.
Yes.
So the Chiefs had a bunch of scoring opportunities, couldn't convert it to touchdowns, or else 43 wouldn't have been enough for the Patriots.
The question I wanted to ask you about, which I just assumed would be a big topic heading into this AFC title game, was going to be experience and how top to bottom the Patriots have it. They've been there. They've done that from the coaching down to the players. They don't get rattled. But Patrick Mahomes wasn't rattled in the divisional round. He came out, he looked great early on, and he was able to manage and stay composed throughout the game. Does experience factor into this game at all?
Experience, it's always the people who don't have experience who say the experience doesn't matter. But this is New England's experience, and I'm talking about recent. They've been a bad football team on the road. Now, does their playoff experience supersede their inability to play quality football on the road? So that's the question I have to ask, because they have a lot of experience, but they just haven't been good on the road. Will they be as good on 3rd down without having that hometown crowd? Because I expect Kansas City fans to get non-conversions on 3rd down on 3 or 4 of those 3rd downs just by the noise that they're going to make and the inability for the Patriots to be able to audible the way they were doing in the first week number 6, where they didn't force them to punt. So this is going to be a different meeting. Experience will only take you so far. I also believe that the experience of Andy Reid, it will help out Kansas City, because he's gone against Belichick a lot of times, and Andy Reid in this matchup, I believe, helps alleviate some of that difference in overall experience. In the last 2 meetings, this young football team facing New England, seeing them eye to eye, being able to go up and down the field with them, I think their own personal experience as Kansas City Chiefs is going to help this young football team playing at home, Nick.
And so 2 points. One is on the experience factor. One of the reasons I believe we see young quarterbacks struggle typically in their first postseason run is it's very rare for a young quarterback, when they make the postseason, to have their entire postseason run be at home. It's the Deshaun Watson path, right? Where they, even if they had won that game, they then go on the road. It's Dak, they won that game, they then had to go on the road.
Right, if you look at the young quarterbacks who have had great success, that being Brady, being Eli, and Peyton, and Ben Roethlisberger, you're right.
Ben had the success. They were 15-1 that year. They were throughout home. Peyton Manning, if you remember, he didn't have the 1 seed every year early, and it was one of the difficulties he had. Brady was lucky. I shouldn't say lucky. He was a huge part of it. But his first year, they were the 2 seed. So Mahomes, I don't know how he's going to play in a road playoff game, but he's not going to have to play in one of those this season. But the other thing as far as experience goes is this. These Pats players have bad experience with Andy Reid Chiefs teams hanging a bunch of points on them. This is a number that is, to me, startling, and I'm going to say it probably a dozen times this week. Bill Belichick has coached 338 games with the New England Patriots against everyone other than Andy Reid Chiefs teams. 338 games. He's allowed 40 points 4 times in those 338 games. He's coached against the Andy Reid Chiefs 4 times. He's allowed 40 points 3 of them. So in his whole career with the Pats, he's allowed 40 points 7 times. 3 of them have been games against the Andy Reid-led Chiefs.
And the other one, did they have
5 years.
27?
They had, yeah, they got to nearly 30. You're right, absolutely right. And so this Chiefs team, even with Alex Smith is the quarterback. Had success. They won in New England. They blew him out on Monday Night Football. And so Andy Reid schematically has had success against Belichick's defense.
Even going back to the Super Bowl in Philadelphia, Andy Reid's only trip there with the Philadelphia offense was very, very successful against that Patriots defense in that Super Bowl.
And Andy Reid's disciple, Doug Peterson, he's one of the other 40-point games in the Super Bowl and the only one in the playoffs.
Man, where am I? You're smarter, okay?
No, you guys are. I need those glasses.
There you go, Jenna. They'll look okay on you.
Coming up, can the Cowboys make the leap in 2010?
2019.
My God. Stephen Jones seems to think so. It sounded wrong when I said it.
Yeah.
We're back after this. You may want these back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Big news, America. The Dallas Cowboys, in addition to